Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Barak Wali, and like you already know me, like if you do not know me, what's wrong with you? So, okay, there's not much light in the room. Let me just fix up the light for a sec there. Yep, we have got some light. Right. Yeah. Let's just decrease them a little because now it's too much or something. Right, so we've got lights now. We've got body now. It's time to go to the gym though. It's already 4. But the reason why I stream so late, we will be going gym too late today. But the reason, because we will be streaming for 1 hour or something, and then I'll just quickly run to my gym or something. It's just close by actually, so not gonna run, but you get the gist, I suppose, right? So the reason why I stream so late is because I got my everything blocked because of cold turkey. Accidentally blocked a lot of things, and then I have to actually go through the entire morning to fix that shit. Fuck myself for my mistakes. But now the mistakes are gone, and just like how I always conquer mistakes, and just like how we always fucking fix stuff, we all little things. Like, so I have written what we had to do. Okay, we had to find out how the Google ad works, and I did find that out in the morning. Let me just open up the pretty much tabs right here and there. Paragraph mapping verification just needs to be deleted. Right. So, well, let me just check it out. Okay. Technically, can you build a micro SaaS website? If useful model, how many websites own? But yeah, no, not this one. Qualify. Funny memes, usually low commercial intent. Weather website, moderate, usually low. Yeah, so we were, so what I was building at, guys, is like how to, so there's 2 strategies. Strategy number 1, build a SaaS company, compete in the market, try to build some product or something, like anything that actually earns a lot of money, right? So that's the first thing. But what I did find out is that there's an entirely different strategy. Let me just add that here. No, we're not going to open up this tab, right? We're going to switch to our profile. We're going to go to cyber coding, and we're just going to close this one. So that closes up the share. Right, so there's 2 strategies that I find out. So there's literally 2, like, which is, and I was thinking, okay, the biggest thing in the markets is, my ladies and gentlemen, is like what kind of strategies are there, and what kind of strategy the best works for you, right? Because first example, I mean, I have no example. I've never shipped any real product. That's why the strategy number 1, like the micro tool strategy, if you remember, but we were using micro tools as a way to earn money or something, but now we would be using it as, like, because the way to earn money was through AdSense, like, and that's when I realized it's an entirely different strategy compared to, because AdSense is more about retention and creating value that allows people to be on the platform or something, right? So I don't think so. I need background sound. Like, that guy told me that, like, it's good to have a background sound in the background of some fucking reason, and I took his advice, but yeah, fucking stupid bitch he was. All right, progressive per view. So what, like, yeah, so you have 2 strategies. First of all, you have a SaaS business with pay and frequency, market figure, payment probability, customer acquisition cost, distribution, customer lifetime, manufacturing cost and complexity. All of that plays into the role. But then you have strategy number 2 that we are making today. Strategy number 2, and which is entirely different than this strategy. Let me just create a new note. Strategy 2. Which is an entirely different strategy, guys. What is the spelling of strategy? If I would have knew that, like, I would be in MIT, right, guys? Like, yeah. So I think it's, like, it doesn't matter. Like, I think it's strategy, right? It's T there's and G too. Oh, it's strategy or G. Okay, TEGY, not TEGY. Okay, TGEY, whatever. Like, yeah. So we have strategies. Shall we just do it bold or something? Yeah, we have strategies. So now look at the screen. So strategy, like, yeah. So first of all, what are the most dominant variables, right? So once again, what are the most dominant variables? It's qualified traffic, right? It's ad value. It's session per user, right? Like a repeat visit, how many times, and it's pages views per session. So it's like session per user is like repeat visits. Is like if the website is, like, really good, then yeah, and then it's like ad value. What kind of ads runs through your website, right? So, like, I also had questions, but, like, yeah, and there's qualified traffic. What kind of market you're actually targeting. Right. I mean, if you're targeting a simple market who want to watch memes, then of course you're not going to earn money. But if you're targeting a market where, like, the traffic is more about finance, then you're going to earn more money, right? So I get that. So it's like at the end of the day, these 4 things are matters the most. Like, yeah, geographic location matters if you're targeting US customers. But yeah, your majority of the time, everyone is targeting US. And I am going to time on the page, that matters too. How much, but it's much less. And viewability, like, yeah, but that's not matter. I think there's only 4 metrics that matters the most. And, like, yeah, and if there are any dominant variables, can you tell them, right? Besides these? So if you create another chart, let's per se, like let's just open that and let's just create edit sort. Can we not create a table by ourselves? Okay, can I okay, ideas. We had some ideas, transmission. No, not the idea, but we had like a daily notes, right? Calendar. We need to open our daily notes here today. We need to like, let's just take any table. All right. How do you make table on, oh, okay, man. Table on Obsidian. Tables on Obsidian. Yeah, I can just copy paste. Last time I did the same thing. How do you actually do that though? Fuck that. Control C, Control V. Right, it created a table by itself. And then I just like open up the advanced one, what they call that. Right. Select something, just delete that. I don't delete this one, just delete that. Shall I have an, like, yeah, I would need age, but of course we don't need age for now. We don't need that. So first of all, we need like any website. First of all, in order to like IBM optimizing. So we are optimizing for the AdSense, right, or ad revenue from Google or something. Go on with that. So there's strategy. We can call this strategy 2, right? Strategy 2 or something. And then we can like create a folder which is called strategies. Okay, I have to type that because that is not working. Whisperflow strategies. Okay, so you got strategy 2 there. All right, and then we'll create another node, which we'll call strategy 1. TG. Okay, strategy 1. So we've got ourselves strategy 1 in strategies, right? And then we'll go to this, a simple, like, we'll just copy the entire shit. Control Z. Can I not copy the entire table? How do you copy a table? Okay, let me just try to tie up from here. Yeah, it does copy the table. That's pretty good. This is the strategy 1. We're gonna take this row and let's just delete this row. So we start with the pawn website, YouTube toolbox, social media, everything. Like so everything is like kind of like stated here. Right, so everything is kind of like stated here in a simple basic idea is how all of this is functioning. Okay. Right, so this is like a simple template for the softwares. For the SaaS strategy. So this is like a simple template for a strategy, and like this is a simple template for the ad revenue. Okay, where's that? Name, no, of course not name. Like here we've got like, first of all, here we've got the idea, but here we got the needs and idea once again, just like how I did the last time. The time to go to gym has appeared, but I'm not going to gym. Let me just turn up Bluetooth here. Since the morning, I haven't done any work because I was fixing the cold turkey blocker, but congratulations. Now I've actually created a workflow where there is nothing. Let's say our system design is actually pretty awesome because we have created a workflow where, like, yeah. So first of all, you need, in order to like, yeah, you need a good domain. You need a, like, yeah. So what do you need for the strategy? Like in order for it to work, you need search engine optimization. Like, okay, if it's not search engine optimized, you're not going to get the traffic. Increase qualified user retention. You need retention. So if you are creating retention, retention matters the most. Then you'll have internal linking, increase page views, page viewer per visit. Like, yeah, page viewers per visit. Like if you have one page, like, yeah, or 2 page or 3 page, like that matters the most. How many pages, right? And then you have can improve user retention and page view finance business, increase RPM, retention per minute. What is RPM? Okay, here's they have a, If you are addressing the system down to variables that dominate Google AdSense, and I reduce it even further, like to users, X visit plus page plus RPM, revenue per thousand page views to capture the value for audience. RPM here. RPM dominates, guys. RPM dominates. So RPM is revenue per. Okay, that makes total sense. Like geography determining this captures the value of audience, advertiser demand, geography seasonability. Like yeah, revenue. We can say revenue per thousand pages. This is like the goat of the entire field. Like revenue per thousand pages is like some websites have a revenue per thousand pages is like a made up of like what they say. So we can add like here revenue per thousand pages is more likely it comes from what they call geography. If you're tackling US markets, that's like geography. So here we can say US markets, right? So we have US markets, X, we can say like, yeah, or plus or multiplication, but if it's multiply, that's better. Where's the sign of multiplication? Well, like, yeah, let's just go with asterisk. Okay, there's no sign on keyboard of multiplication. What the hell? Yeah. Yeah, and seasonality. Audience. Ad you're running. Ads. Ad value. Audience, which is what audience is, like what kind of, like, you know, audience. Qualified users, repeat visitor. Repeat visits, page view per visit. Because websites have multiple pages, retention, how long they're retaining. But retention is not the most part. It's like how many pages they view and repeat visits, right? Repeat visits. So repeat visits, pretty much retention is like repeat visits, like how many times do they open up the website again and again? Right, pages per visit, pages per visit, PPV, pages per visit. So for example, a website can have multiple pages, and the more the pages you open up, for example, if you're reading a web novel website and you're reading a lot of chapters, if you're in a manga or manhwa or anime website, you watch one episode, another episode, another episode, another. Each episode have like another page, and another page would have another ad. Simple as that. So each time, like for example, you can say in like, you know, in animes you can watch like 12 to 13 pages a day, like for example, but that's a lot. Well, because at most you're like go from the home page to the page where you have like the we can say like the video, the you know, so that's like 2 pages, right? And then you watch like 2 or 3 episodes, so that's 3 to 4 pages a day, and then you repeat that for a couple of months. That's about 1,000 pages, like in a month alone, right? So not 1,000 pages, couple hundred. Like I was thinking in terms of like a year, but okay, sorry. So 3 or 4 pages per day you're looking at it. So in a year, that's more than 1,000 pages you have, and then there's 1,000 people. That's 100,000 pages. Like yeah, so that's kind of like 10,000, like yeah, 100,000. Right. No, sorry, 1,000,000 pages. Not 100,000. 1,000,000. Once, tens, 100,000, 10,000, lakh, 10 lakh. Or, yeah, 1,000,000 pages, right? Yes, that's 1,000,000 pages. Sorry. So if 1,000 people watches it for, so that's 1,000,000 pages viewed. So like, yeah, so pages per visit is important. So if your website like in itself like has like each time person comes in, they have to actually go through 2 pages. That's like, yeah, so we have to increase that size. So it's like 2 pages. Repeat visit, how many times? Like the 1,000,000 pages are only possible because 1,000 customers repeat the coming back to a website again and again. So they repeat visit. Search engine optimization. Okay, for example, whatever the bit, like, you know, if the pages per visit is high, if the repeat visits is high, if the search engine optimization is high, then the chances of it making like, you know, money is higher, right? And then we have revenue per 1,000 pages. This changes. This is like one of the biggest variables. It's like, for example, at finance, it's different. And like, you know, many websites say they're targeting bit relative if you're competing with site. Qualified users, not random users, qualified users. Yeah. Qualified users. Now you'll say, okay, right, what does qualified users mean? I would say a lot. Okay, actually, you know, I can just, sorry. Fuck, I fucked up. Not users, you need qualified users, or in simple terms, what you need is like, in simple terms, qualified users mean qualified users. So yeah, so qualified users is like some markets perform well because the users they are having the money to like look up in the ad or buy something from the ad. If a lot of them like conversion ratio matters too. For Google to love you, for example, if your website is like about mobile phones and people are interested into buying mobile phones, they're qualified users. If your website is about ads or stuff and they are not interested in buying that, let's say if a website is about memes, right? And a person who's watching meme and online or random website was most probably not gonna buy anything at all, right? So they never click on the ad. So if they never click on the ad, you never make the money, right? Because they have to click on the ad to make to make more money, right? Revenue per 1,000 page is like, you know, it's like pretty much is the audience valuable to advertise? Yeah, that's like at the end of the day, that's why everyone's targeting US. Like, is this audience valuable to advertise? And like, a US markets matter more than other markets. Like, the answer is pretty simple behind that. It's not because US markets are. It's just that US markets has a lot of more money. So it's like anything we are doing is like a reference to US market. If it's abundant in UNF, there are less competition, then we're gonna go with right. A repeat visit, how many times they visit, pages per visit, qualified user search engine optimization. So this is like an SEO or something strategy that we have. But self retention doesn't matter how much attention. Geography. So ChatGPT, at the end of the day, what matters the most is like. But could you explain more about RPM, like, you know? And also, what exactly do you mean by qualified users? I do get the idea or the gist, but still, could you explain more about both of them? Like, again, like, I still don't get like RPM, like, you know, revenue per 1,000 pages, and qualified users and how they play a role. This is an entirely different strategy. Revenue per. Okay. Optimize for RPM. Optimize for RPM. RPM. And whatever increases it. That's all. Should I go to the gym and then I once again start the stream? Whatever increase it. Optimize for RPM, right? Just killing dimes. Companies don't bid much results, maybe. Tonight, no. Someone calculating text might hire an accountant or buy a text software. No. Maybe 20 or 60, even higher. That traffic one could be identical but different about advertised value. Okay. RPM. Each website has its own value. bidding that happens is different. That's all. So what determines RPM? So RPM is pretty much like, yeah. Often command much higher interest rates than entertainment. Entertainment websites are trash. I see. The RPM of entertainment websites are trash. So that's why we have to, okay, that's why we have to, like, yeah, because the people come there for enjoyment, right? So this is a side note. Like, people come there for entertainment. That's why, majority of the time, it doesn't do much. People come there for entertainment. So, like, yeah, and especially if it's anime kids who doesn't have any money. Or movies too. And these have much money. So even though you have 1 million visits just because of 1,000 people in a year, the problem is, my friend, you're still gonna earn a lot less compared to someone who has like, that's why, oh my gosh, okay, that's why we're not targeting that industry. Now let's talk about qualified user. This is more, this a qualified user is someone who arrives because they need to accomplish something specific. For example, qualified users, okay. That's why micro tools works. I see. Qualified users. Like, for example, let's say you have an investing website. For example, you go to this website. Okay. Money Control. You go to this website like this, and now just look how much this website. I'm telling you, this website just earns a lot of money. The answer is simple. Continue to Money Control. What the fuck? Everyone who comes here to understand, okay, how the GDP is going, what news are coming up, what's the latest news. Like, it's just like something that every investor needs, right? And then they have, see, personal loans offer. These ads will disappear forever. Launch ad light. So you can go to ad light, and then they ask for subscription, right? So you can go for the subscription. So there are 4 million plus. Oh my fucking lord, 4 million plus people who've actually paid the subscription. But if they don't want to pay the subscription, they go with the ads. So now you have ads. Like, you know, you have like, this is like a loan app or something. So like you can go with that, and it's, I guess, yeah, you have Go Free, and there's also ad coming up here in just 5 minutes. Like, yeah, so they have ads. So they earn from ads. Like, look here, they have ads here too. 15 lakh instant up to loans. They're actually seeing that. And right, so this is, and I think they do really well in ads. So they're earning from ads. If you don't pay, they earn from ads. If you pay, they earn regardless, right? And I can pretty much imagine a large base of people who actually go through this is like, yeah, there's another ad here, I guess. Like, yeah, okay. Getting exclusive portfolio review from an expert. Right, Nifty 50, bank, Money Control. Oh my gosh, there are so many different pages. Portfolio, living car, and each page. The thing is, here's the thing. If you have like editors, tech India, let's just go learning curve or portfolio. What the fuck? It's not showing pages. A lot of pages that were up here. Wait a sec. Was it from here? Credit score, IPO loans, silver rate. Yeah, here. So each of these page could have their each of ad, and the ad could appear just sideways or like a slight small banner, like not too much ad bulky or something, but each of these page would have their own ads, right? And we won't be bombarding people with ads or something, but the idea is like each of these page would have their own ads, right? And this is the real concept here is pages views per visit. So if you are using such a website, the page views per visit, it would be about 5 or 10. In 5 or 10 pages, you will have 5 or 10 like, you know, ads. So you get what I mean. So 5 or 10 ads per visit. So it's like if 5 people are visiting your page, even though they're not, right? So yeah, that's another thing. So this is like one website, right? Like in the past, trust me, used to bombard with a lot more, like, I guess, ads, but yeah. The qualified wizard, the best CRM for DECT is very qualified. And that's how to calculate business again. Not trying to complete a task, they're entertaining, they're still visitors, they're just less valuable to advertise on average. Think of it mechanically. Suppose you're selling umbrellas, would you advertise walking outside, watching car of easily person A? closer to buying. That's why advertising or paying for Google if the accounting exists based on how action between qualifier. Higher RPM. Imagine these two websites reach 100,000 page views. Topic game memes. $2 RPM revenue. Ah, 35. Same traffic. Problem being solved. Qualified users arrive. I see RPM and repeat visits. First qualified user and search engine. Okay, we need qualified users, but we need search engine optimization. We need repeat widgets. RPM. Okay, that's why we've got one video. Like, yeah. ChatGPT, is there something else that I'm missing? So, okay, we got qualified users, repeat visits, page views per visit, RPM, right? You know, which is like a revenue per 1,000 pages. And then we have search engine optimization. So if you have a website that attracts qualified users a lot, like, you know, then as soon as you have qualified users, you would have repeat visits most probably. But yeah, if they're qualified and they have repeat visits, and pages per visit is like hard to optimize for, because like, yeah, I'm creating micro tools. So that would not be like optimizing, that would be definitely hard. Right. And then after that, you have RPM, which is like, yeah, revenue per page. That improves when you have revenue per 1,000 pages. Does improve when you have qualified users. So at the end of the biggest game is like search engine optimization and qualified users. As long as like they takes the highest, you know what they say, importance, right? So if you're like, without search engine optimization, the website is not going to rank. So even if they are qualified users, they'll funnel into different websites, first thing. So we have to actually become the king of search engine optimization. Second of all, qualified users, like building tools for the people who actually have the ability to pay. That means it's B2B tools or something. Like, so you're creating not from children, not for adults who want to waste time. You're building it for someone who will actually use your service again and again. I guess that's how it functions, huh? Any variable that we are missing out, you know. And also simultaneously recommend me just one YouTube video that gives asymmetric understanding of like how to earn money from Google AdSense, a lot of money. Like, yeah. It's heating, man. It's like humidity. I should just turn on my fan or something. Okay, noise cancellation is not on. Ah, okay, source demand. How big the market is, you bitch. Source demand, okay. Source demand. So at the end of the day, okay. Search demand. Oh, it's not demand, it's demand. Okay, actually, let's highlight this because SEARCH. Like, yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's this thing that is actually has the biggest. Like, yeah, we can even rank them. This, of course, the first. If there's no search demand, there's no point. But then again, you need competition too. Like, yeah, so there's competition that matters. If there's too much competition, yeah, are there qualified users a lot in that industry? Do you have repeat visits? Because you're actually, so if something has a higher pages per visit, like you can have that. And then RPM is like obviously going to increase, like, you know, because of these, like RPM is the outcome of these variables. I don't know if you're even including it as right here is important or not at this point, but yeah. But you need to calculate at some point what is RPM is actually. But yeah. But we can say if industry has a high, we can calculate an average RPM for every industry that we are building for or something. So like that is possible. Yeah, that is possible. I kind of like go back like this. I'm like always out of my camera field, but then I come into front sometime like this. That's like, yeah, that's actually an optimal position to some degree, I suppose. Yeah, just like this. Right. So yeah, just like this. Kind of like gives the entire scene of the room though, but yeah. Ranking ability, search engine. Now your idea starts working. If they are 100% significant share of those, if you're page 5, you'll capture very little. Insertion, demand, traffic, user value, qualified traffic, RPM. When you would have repeat visits, a place where I think you're thinking too narrowly.
Site making $35,000 per month that quite frankly nearly put me to sleep because it's so boring. However, when I realized how much money this boring little website could make, I poured myself another bowl of honeycombs and decided to dig in. I'm going to show why boring little website ideas are often overlooked as good businesses and yet sometimes have the most potential to make money. In today's video, you'll see I just uncovered a one-page website that is making over 21. I just uncovered a one-page website potentially built in a. And when I saw how many advertisements were all over this website, I just knew that it must be a gold mine. This simple 10-minute email website is getting a whopping 1.1 million visitors per month. A little over half of its traffic is coming from Google organic search. That's right, good old SEO for the win. But how much money can a one-page website make that is getting 1.1 million visitors a month? I'm going to estimate a $10 RPM, which is how much advertising revenue this site earns per one estimated page. That's right, just one purpose to the site, and just one page is needed.
One ring to rule them all.
And when I saw how many advertisements
10-minute email. Okay, what does this website does? Look at how many have created the same website. Look just how many have created. Look just how many have replicated the idea. And this website got famous and people just copied it like hell. Oh my gosh. Look at, and this is AI created website. It looks trash. Okay, so if there's one good idea about a website and if a YouTuber talks about it, of course everyone just copies
were
them.
all over this website, I just knew that it must be a gold mine. This simple 10-minute email website is getting a whopping 1.1 million visitors per month. A little over half of its traffic is coming from Google organic search. That's right.
The expensive premium API feature email newsletters. Search demand comes before COCO determines how existing the capture demand doesn't create the demand. Sure, if I recommend just one source that gives me useful mail about publicity to an ads about a site, I would actually recommend pursuit on YouTube rather than generic make money.
2011, I quit the corporate world and I've been a full-time entrepreneur ever since. At the time, I was a business banker for Wells Fargo Bank, and I had been in the corporate world for about 8 years after I had graduated from college. But now I wanted...
The last video. The most underrated way to make a... Yeah, money lies, and what they say, like and being and trying to find out the best positioning or something. It's like it's about positioning here, guys. Money comes when you position yourself well, I suppose. Okay, it's getting really dark. Like, yeah, the weather is getting gloomy. I think I should go to gym soon. Maybe I'll get in a car or go in car. But the guys, what I'm like, yeah, I did find out a couple of things here and there, but okay, I don't think so. This is the best idea in the world. Like, it feels like too crowded, but I guess markets are crowded. Aha, this is the thing. Markets are always crowded. With products you have, like with Tesla too, with car companies to airships to rocket, every fucking company is crowded with hundreds of thousands of competing businesses. It's just that the one that competes the most efficiently wins, I suppose. Search demand, qualified user, repeat visits, pages per visit, RPM. But it's like if you have qualified users, the RPM, like, you know, the revenue per 1,000 page views, like, you know, or per 1,000 users coming to your website increases substantially. How do we increase RPM? By search demand, by CEO, by qualified user, by repeating visits, right? So it's like, yeah. Sorry for that. So we got strategy number one, SaaS strategy, like a SaaS business or something. And man, let's just remove that, you know. doesn't well rhyme with my moral ethics. A simple template for SaaS strategy, a simple template for our revenue. All right, then you have to find search demand, then you have to find search engine optimization and do that. Then you find qualified users in that niche. Right, you need repeat visits that, yeah, and then pages per visit. Like if that is high, like, yeah, but if it's just one page, then there's not much pages per visit. So a lot of times you will not have like that kind of stuff, but like, yeah, we'll just, it's not a big metric, honestly. Like it's not a pages per visit. I mean, it's not a, like, yeah. And then you have RPM, that kind of like, you know, revenue per, what they say. Like, yeah. Control Z, actually. I fucked up there. Control Z. Delete. Yeah. Repeat visits, RPM, qualify. It's like how many times, like one that also counts as a repeat visits if you have multiple pages. And I know, like, oh, the environment got so dark. All right, now my face should be appearing like human. Like, yeah, just look at the gloomy environment. Like, it's the windows. Like, the light is only coming from the window, and the environment has become so gloomy right now. It's like, yeah, someone's gonna die or something. Damn, today is the best day to die, actually. Not gonna lie. How many websites do you own? So there's two strategy. Now we can analyze here too. All right, like revenue per page views is only high because of search engine optimization, qualified users, and search demand and repeat visits, right? So at the end of the day, you should build the stuff that people need and constantly use again and again and again. It's kind of given already at this point. So how do you find problems? How do you find great problems? The thing is, guys, like there is a strategy. Every strategy requires only one simple thing to work. If not one thing, they require a couple of things to work, and that is, yep, you know it. How do you good problems? How do you know which ones are worth solving? Whether it's a SaaS, whether it's a hardware business, whether it's an AdSense or ad revenue, right? Whatever, wherever and wherever you are, like everywhere, the thing that becomes kind of inevitable is that in all strategies, like you're solving problems. Sometimes you're solving problem, like, are you are reducing uncertainty about the future states. That's all. Like, yeah, literally that's all cybernetically and informationally and neuroscientifically. Future states. That's all you are doing. Of course, that's so much compact line, and if you read the books with me, then you'll understand what that even fucking means. But 99% of the time, if you're a normal person, you'll not understand what that means. Yeah, here we got this. Now, the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, how do you find good problems? But what else strategies are there? ChatGPT, like, for my home, I found two strategies to make money. The strategy number one is like pretty much create a SaaS business, the basic things, right? And do a quick analysis by you, like, you know, if the pain, frequency, market size, payment probability, customer acquisition cost, distribution, customer lifetime value, manufacturing cost, and complexity of the product of the SaaS business you're building, market data, competition, the mode of your business, like, you know, like the current solution, the one of the biggest reasons your business would fail, and like, you know, information asymmetry you have in that market, right? Stuff like that. And you do that and you try to find out what's the best SaaS product you can build right now. Right, that's one analysis. That's one strategy you go for. You try to. There are a couple of things, couple of variables that matter in SaaS business. You kind of like take care of that variables, like, you know, to like, yeah. So the pain and the problem you solve and stuff like that. The same thing happens with the micro business tool too. Like you also solve pain and, like, you know, and repeatedly. But the thing is here is like you target a niche market or a small market. You can do that with the SaaS business too, but it's like then that niche market would have a genuinely big problem. But sometimes what happens is like you do solve a problem, but the problem is not big enough and it requires a simple tool to solve it. So which is my strategy number two, which is a simple tool production or something, which pretty much creates a simple tool, a website which produces simple tools, right? And they have like a search demand, search engine optimization, like, you know, and qualified users, repeat visits, you know, or RPM. There's stuff like that. So what you do is like, yeah. So what you do again and again is you build website, right? And you try to find out the search demand, the search engine, and then like, you know, search demand for some problem, and then you find out if there's a high search demand, you create a website for it, right? And then there's like a search engine optimization. There's qualified users, like you know, you target the users with money and stuff like that, and then you have repeat visits from those users that increases the RPM, which is like revenue per thousand page views or something. So at the end of the day, you earn a lot of money from that. Not a lot of, but some money from that. So that's very too. But what happens is when you have multiple websites, and multiple websites are generally good and actually solves a real good problem again and again and again, and the more customers who are actually qualified users come again and again, what happens is that you end up earning a lot of money too from there. So, right, that's another strategy. Right, I have two strategies here. What else are there? What entirely different kind of strategy would you say for a SaaS business? There's also hardware too. You go online and you find a problem that there's some hardware and stuff like that, and then you, like, you know, go out there and actually solve that problem. So that's like a hardware strategy too. You know, you can go that, like, yeah. And then there's YouTube strategy too. You build something that people kind of like binge upon or something. Right, at the end of the day, what you're pretty much solving is like, you're pretty much solving problem for people. Like the bigger the problem, like, you know, and but it's just that different strategies to solve problem, right? That appears in different industries, right? Like, yeah, you're doing that. There sometimes you solve problems for businesses, sometimes you solve problem for local consumers, sometimes you solve from someone else entirely or something. Like, yeah. But then again, what kind of strategies like am I missing out now? Yeah, there's also boredom strategy, like the strategy we have with like being bored on YouTube. Like that's why you open up on information. So educational content make a lot of money. That's another reason. So it's like strategies like go for entertainment, but then again, you have to compete with a lot of people in educational. Go and take a niche in the market in that education system, and then actually can consistently produce content about it. I'll take global and then produce. Okay, that wasn't something I should do on stream, but yeah, I ended up doing it. Someone go. Marketplaces are really hard. Like, yeah, marketplace, you can't. Yeah. From reducing uncertainty, money comes from reducing uncertainty. Becomes membership, financial business. So become the product, example, insurance, lending, payments, investing, the values and information, it's comprehensive. Yeah, I think for the last couple of years, I've been trying to read books or something, but finally, when you start, capital allocation, the distribution companies could on attention matter also. Notice that one business, it's a flywheel. More audience, cheap distribution, better products, more cash flow, investment, capital, compounding wealth. The audience makes the customer acquisition cheap, but the software becomes the recurring cash and like cash. One final point I'd ask: you repeatedly use the phrase "least effort." I would carefully use that for limitations. Difference working for the company that compounds for 20 years is often far better trade than kills the variable to optimize, and if it is expecting lifetime return per hour invested, that's much better. Which industry has the most money? RPM. Recurrence, because yeah, like if you scale it, I get it what it's saying. Like code and distribution scalability. As soon as we have like scalability matters the most. In hardware, the margins are really thin, right? Or like not really high. In code and distribution, margins are the best. Services ceiling low, high, very high. Yeah, but code and distribution difficulty high, extremely high. Capital allocation, right? Media and audiences like difficulty high, extremely high. But then again, nothing beats the combination of these three: media, code, capital, and media. Like these, like yeah. So if you can actually create some media or content like that just like how I'm building like a stream channel or something, like streaming every day or something, like that is like a content creation or something that you're trying to do, right? Mm-hmm. Like learning and building, like yeah. So I can have a content creation system there, right? And then you have code and distribution system, which is something else entirely, right? I mean, mm-hmm. Right. So that's on the list too. So. But then again, if you have to go into the code and like in code and distribution systems, there's strategy, first of all, which is Thursday message, like RPM. But then again, okay, which industry are we targeting? Because the thing is, like, we can make them overlap, right? At the initial start, we come with the service or product. At the start, we're not going to charge anything for a month. If we have returning, repeating customers, at the starting month, we're going to constantly use ad revenue to target them or something, right? And after that, we're going to ask them of money. If they pay, that's all right. If they don't, then yeah. I don't want to ask for donations. But then again, it says B2B SaaS, right? B2B SaaS wins a lot of times. Why? Because businesses have a lot of money to pay compared to the more people, and reaching general market is kind of hard all the times because you have to build something like it that is generally useful or something. And there's a lot of people already competing in that market, I suppose. Right. I mean, I'm not 100% right in anything. I mean, I don't know much about the world, man. I'm just a chicken. This is the first year of my life actually trying to make money, like really optimizing to make money. Before that, I was just fixing my life. Before that, I was trying to write book and addicted to porn, isolated. Right now, I fixed a lot of problem. Really. Oh, I needed to check if that is still working or not. Yeah, poof, it's working. So that's great. That's why I love Cold Turkey Blocker. Yeah, I actually disabled it, so I just enabled it again. But yeah, and I think it's time to go to gym too. I'm not going. Let's just go late tomorrow. Like let's just go at 7 or 8 or maybe at night, late at night or something, because I'm tired too. And tomorrow's Sunday, so we can definitely do that. Right, but then again, the thing is, how do you get the man? Look at the body; it's getting better. Like yeah, so there's so many things that I'm sustaining. I'm sustaining gym. I'm sustaining good sleep. If not the best sleep, I'm sustaining like fuck all that. All right, fuck all that for a sec. I mean, I'm sustaining reading and understanding, and like yeah, which I think has the highest ROI too. And itself, right? And you start to see patterns which you wouldn't have seen before. But then again, code distribution, it's like timing too. Like the AI is getting more and more common. That means the production and what they say code and distribution is getting more and more. That means like you need to what they say. If you build something, it is gonna get copied sooner or later. That's why the only advantage you have is the first mover advantage. Move fast and marketize yours before people find out. Or go for the boring and the niche businesses that no one is actually talking about and no one pays attention to. And I think the strategy about going to boring businesses and something is getting common too. Don't create another productivity app or something. But the thing is, like, yes, that is the biggest market too. How do you? But in markets, it's just like education system. It's just like education system. Too many options to choose from. Like not in education systems. Education systems don't give you much option, but it's like in generally, it's like too many options to choose from. Honestly, like what to choose. That's the problem. Then the only way to choose is like what problems are worth solving, or at the end of the day, you are solving problems, right? On YouTube, you're reducing uncertainty when it comes to using words or information or something like that. I think I have an edge there. But at the end of the day, you would still have to compete, honestly. You would still have to compete. I'm not gonna lie. Competition is kind of inevitable. At the end of the day, you still have to compete. Man, it's kind of... What's happening to wire today? I'm playing too much with my wire. It's just falling off again and again. What the fuck? But, okay. I'm tired. I don't know. What problems are worth solving? That's in itself a question. Okay, which problem should use uncertainty efficiently? That's the $1 million question, I guess. Code and distribution, capital allocation, media knowledge. Like when you really start to make business, like or make money or do something like that, like decision fatigue is just too real, man. And decision fatigue in itself, like you know, I think it's kind of obvious that decision fatigue would come at least some point because, like, yeah, you have to make better decision, right? Not to make sure that you're. But I think media and audiences business is kind of like it's really scalable. The margins are really good, extremely high. Difficulty is high. Right. Very high. And hardware too, what I realized difficulties, right? Yeah, we can go for media and all distance businesses because I'm already am in a YouTube, and I can start create a script and speak a script and like yeah. Hmm. Code and distribution. Hmm. Which one for me alone from the room? I can do both. Capital allocation is not possible because I do not literally have many. But like for me, what would you recommend? Media and audiences or code or distribution? Right. Okay, I just want to reduce some light. Can I not? Okay. But okay, so that means the only good options becomes like media plus audiences, like the option A, or option B is like code and distribution, right? Because capital allocation requires money, and I did try to do hardware, and I know hardwares are extremely difficult with thin margin or something. And like if I were in engineering, I would have gone with that more and more. But could you tell me which one is better? Like everyone is getting into media market, everyone is going into code market, and it's getting more and more crowded. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Like everyone, like since the coming of AI, everyone want to be a coder. Everyone want to get into like YouTube business. Like even then, I'm not gonna lie. There are some people who still will make a lot of money in the industry, right? Because they'll solve important problem or something. But you get the gist what I'm saying, right? Like, but then again, what I'm pretty much asking you is like, which one would you think is like far much more opportunity to get into like code and distribution or media or audiences? Like which one? Like now, don't say both because I don't have the energy to do both. But yeah, which one would you think is like yeah? Let's see what the ChatGPT has to say about this. Internet itself software is a problem market. Customer feedback AI lower to come does not automatically lower the cost of finding valuable opportunity there. If you have an employee. Attention-driven businesses makes you or forces you to constantly compete. Attention. You to constantly compete. But I think this is like, yeah. And they have cost to start as the basics. Like, because the AI market needs a lot of time and patience. Because you can't create a product in less than a week. Like, at least it will take a week or two to build even the most simplest tool. And to build good tools, it will take months. So that means like, delayed reward. And YouTube, you can start within minutes. Like, you can just record a video in a couple of hours, done, send it, upload it. You can just record a video that your friend is doing or something and then upload it. YouTube or Instagram functions like that. Like, as soon you can get into market really easily or something. So barrier is even lower. But then again, it's not too low, and for you know, the AI markets are crowded too. But then again, but another thing, you solve a problem, and that's why they will stick. But on YouTube, they have no reason to stick. Like, you could just die next day, and at best there will be a couple of people more about you because they like your identity or something. That's why you kind of like, that's why YouTube is more on human psychology. It's more about how to make content sticky and using strategies to do so. Strategies to do so. And here it's more about finding a problem and then solving it. Which skill would scale more? When I get into the capital allocation market. Let's be honest, which skill would scale more? The ability to find problems and then solving them, and then recognizes which problem would actually make a lot of money and which problems won't. Right. Entirely different businesses. Content creation. And then content creation businesses also target a niche audience. But then again, they're competing harshly. Too, like, crazy. Competition is there too, a lot. For example, Which one is more passive? Yeah, you're definitely right about the judgment thing, but there's another thing I would say. Like I've definitely in the past invested a lot of time onto spending onto what they say on YouTube too, and understanding like yeah, it's all about like spiking on this uncertainty and reduce it every like yeah no, there's different ways and different strategies to kind of like attract the users. But give me a concrete reason, like because I think yeah, and YouTube too, there's every niche is crowded, just like how software is crowded too. Though we can definitely say that software is more crowded. Sorry, we can definitely say that YouTube is more crowded than software, which is kind of given because like everyone consumes YouTube every day. Everyone like is like so every second person thinks that they can be a YouTuber too. Like that's literally like every second person at one day wakes up and start thinking that they can be YouTuber too, right? That doesn't happens with software, and software is boring work. Like don't, a lot of people do not even have the discipline to do so, and a lot of people get started into YouTube is because like because of the fame and stuff like that, and they want to be the part of it, and so yeah. So you can say a competition is a lot more because even if they are just coming there for the idea, they still a lot of people a lot of them ended up being consistent, and then consistency like they end up making right decision and choices from what they'll learn and understood. So yeah, competition is just too brutal, and we're not going to rely on media market. And yeah, but then again, like what else? Like yeah, I think judgment matters a lot more, like you said, like finding expensive problem and solving them because you can solve them really quickly. It's all about finding who finds the expensive problem first or something, and then solves them as soon as they find it. Hmm. But then again, I'm not convinced. I'm convinced to some degree, but it's not like I'm too convinced. I mean, I am highly adaptive. If you really give me the or show me the evidence that media works better, I would literally switch to media. I have no problem in that. Like literally. Give me a concrete reason, just one reason. Like but there's one thing I do know. If you have the ability, like let's say because in the future I am gonna start investing no matter what. Literally. Long term, short term, I don't know. Most probably long term, but I am. And that if I have the ability to find problems, like expensive problems, like and then I have like the judgment to know like which is the problem that people will keep on paying for. So when I'm starting an investing business, I can know which companies are going to go high up and which is just not going to go high up because of conditions and circumstances. So the ability to do research and all of that would be the same as like here what I do with my SaaS business or these kind of businesses, right? But the point is like why do you think like that YouTube or like media markets are not like and tell yeah everyone knows that Instagram market insanely short markets insanely crowded, people every especially Instagram shorts sorry Instagram reels, right? Everyone just uploads one video in their life, like they just completely upload again. So if everyone just uploads, there's just too much content and competition becomes like yeah, no one actually, very few people actually gets the most of the attention while majority of the people don't get it. And here on the software that doesn't happen. And software there's many businesses that earns a lot of, just like in markets you have many people who earns a lot of money. Same goes with the software, because software like yeah, but then again like yeah, so I get that why you're betting on that, but like yeah, I guess yeah, that makes sense, and I will also choose that. But okay, but yeah, because you create dependency loop. Likely not possible. Guys, we are shifting. We would learn to find expensive problem. Yes. That actually matters a lot. Ah, learning to find, I see. No, the only reason why I would say, like, yeah, you know, code is the cheapest way. Like, yeah, there's only one reason that actually is the biggest. Code scale more. So the skill set is not building the code because AI does that thing. The skill set is solving the problems, reducing uncertainty for the masses and for the people who are like, you know, who you know are the worth reducing uncertainty for. Right. YouTube, exactly the same. In YouTube, what you do to grab attention is you spike uncertainty and then you reduce. You can say, oh, this is why health is important, and this is why, like, why you're doing it, all of this is wrong, or something. It's more an attention market, right? It's more of an attention market, right? But then again, the it doesn't scale anything beyond the platform, right? And just like you said, you lose momentum when you stop producing. At the same time, you're competing with a lot more. At the same time, you can't dominate niches, like niche. In markets, new niche are always appearing as the markets and the systems are continuously evolve to grow. Each time you solve one problem, you get capital and you can solve bigger problems. It escalates, it scales really efficiently. You start with small problems and you, at some point, you can keep on scaling and scaling and scaling. It goes to bigger and bigger and bigger problem. And then you can shift the entire industry. At the end of the day, you can start a hardware business out of nowhere. At the end of the day, it's the same thing, solving problems, which is entirely different than understanding consumer psychology, like, which is kind of also useful in, like, if you are building if you are building a chocolate or an ice cream. But then again, that's entirely different. What matters the most is like taste, which in itself requires a lot of problem solving. Like, yeah, the skill set you're building for is entirely different. But I think at the end of the day, everything is kind of like turns out to be reducing uncertainty, according to Carfist and Free Energy Principle. But what we are trying to do here is like there's specific forms of uncertainty, understanding market, understanding what's going to work out and what's going to not. Like, yeah, because if you think YouTube is also has computational analysis, and people also talk about dominating a niche on YouTube, not just randomly starting out. So it's like that's also happened. But on YouTube, a lot of people are competing, and then again, even if you dominate a niche, people are not always interested in it. Whereas what happens with these tools is that people become dependent on them, and dependency is far much more and easier to monetize than attention, because attention is it fragments. Like, just like you said, on Code Market, the companies are fragmented. That's why you can dominate, and that's why you can start a new niche and still make a lot of money. But on YouTube, attention itself is fragmented. Some days they watch comedy, some days they watch something else, some days they watch it's always shifting to what is pleasurable and what is and what reduces uncertainty cheaply, I guess. And then people are competing for it. But then again, competition doesn't determine that I shouldn't start YouTube. But then again, the skill set is of YouTube. Now that I think about it, the skill set of YouTube is also pretty good. Not gonna lie. Right. Damn, I don't know why I'm making noise. Yeah, you learn to write scripts. You learn to what? By the way, guys, can you hear this? I don't know how that sounds to you guys. Wait a sec, let me hear it. Oh, each time I do this, it sounds like this. Oh. It sounds like I'm training someone's clothes. Oh. Hmm. Guys, I think I have to go. But I guess I can stick, but I have to go to gym and get a diet. And then, yeah, we have to learn one thing, how to find out good problems. That's it. Oops. Oh. Hmm. Yeah. Find out expensive problems, man. Find out expensive problems. These are two strategies, and then there's content creation too, which is an entirely different strategy. But then again, we have to find out how to find expensive problem. I'm gonna do research on that now. Yeah. Bye bye, guys.